students, very good afternoon to all of you. Now today I am going to explain you the third chapter of your book, that is supplementary reader, Footprints Without Feet, and the name of the chapter is The Midnight Visitor by Robert Arthur. Before beginning, I just want to ask you a question, that what picture do you frame as you hear the name of a, or you just hear about a secret agent? You must have read many stories on the many adventure stories, and the picture that comes to our mind is of a person who is physically fit, smart, handsome, and intelligent. So, but this story tells us about a secret agent named Ozible, who is entirely opposite to the image that we create in our mind of a secret agent. So, this chapter, The Midnight Visitor, is a chapter of such detective, and but here the Midnight Visitor, the title has been given because it tells us about the midnight visitor. Visitor is an uninvited guest, and midnight is one who arrives at 12 o'clock. So here the midnight visitor is another secret agent, that is Max, who has come to Ozible to steal the reports of a missile which were to arrive in a short time. So he was waiting for Ozible, and he wanted to take that reports by using the wrong means, and he was the secret agent of another country. So he had come to steal those papers, those reports. So here now we are going to read this story, and before beginning I just also want to tell you that there are three characters in this story. One is Ozible, who is a secret agent. Second is Max, as I told you, who is a midnight visitor or another secret agent. And the third is Fowler. Fowler is a writer who comes to meet Ozible because he is writing an adventure story or a detective story, you can say that. So we can say that it indirectly point towards the writer Robert J. Arthur. So first of all, let me tell you about Robert J. Arthur, that he was born on November 10, 1909 and lived up till May 2nd, 1969, and he was a writer of speculative fiction known for his work with the Mysterious Traveler radio series and for writing The Three Investigators, a series of young adult novels. Arthur was honored twice by the Mystery Writers of America with an Edgar Award for Best Radio Drama. He also wrote scripts for television such as The Twilight Zone and Alfred Hitchcock's TV show, that is Alfred Hitchcock Presents. So this story begins like this, that Ozible did not fit any description of a secret agent Fowler had ever read. Following him down the musty corridor of the gloomy, musty is damp smell, having a very damp smell. When during the rainy season we get the smell, the stale smell, or you can say damp smell. Musty corridor, you all know it is a narrow passage, and gloomy means which is the sad look, that is the corridor was not properly lit, there was no proper light, and it was very dimly, there was a dim light in the corridors. So following him down the musty corridor of the gloomy French hotel. So Ozible was staying in a French hotel where Ozible had a room. Fowler felt let down. Let down means he felt disappointed. It was a small room on the 6th and top floor, and scarcely a setting for a romantic adventure. Romantic means imaginative or having fantastic view of reality. Further in the second paragraph he says Ozible was for one thing fat, very fat, and then there was his accent. Though he spoke French and German passably means acceptably, he had never altogether lost the American accent he had brought to Paris from Boston 20 years ago. So here these two paragraphs tells us that Fowler felt that Ozible did not look, as Fowler came to meet Ozible, he found that he did not look like a secret agent at all. He was following Ozible to his room through a smelly and a bit scary corridor. His room was on the top floor, which was the sixth floor of the hotel. Ozible was a very fat man, and his accent was American. Although he had been living in Paris for last 20 years. Accent is what? Your way of speaking a word, or your pronunciation. So his accent, and he could speak a bit of French and German. Then Ozible tells Fowler that although he was told that he was going to meet a secret agent, a spy agent who had been dealing with danger, crime scenes, and drugs, but Fowler was disappointed. So here the third paragraph says, "You are disappointed," Ozible said wheezily. So here means now he said like that, he was felt disappointed. So over his shoulder, "You were told that I was a secret agent, a spy dealing with espionage." Espionage is spying and danger. "You wish to meet me because you are a writer, young and romantic. You envisioned," means visualize, mysterious figures in the night, the crack of pistols, drugs in the wine. So in these lines, now here Ozible is just telling about, there's a conversation going on between Ozible and Fowler, and he's telling that I know that you might be disappointed to see me. So it is written over here, Fowler was disappointed. He had to spend the evening in a music hall, and what he had expected of the secret agent Ozible was not that he had imagined, but it was just opposite of it. This Ozible, he was a very fat man, not suitable or not according to the image that he had made in his mind. Fowler had made in his mind. So he was disappointed, and Ozible also tells Fowler that although he was told that he was going to meet a secret agent, a spy agent who had been dealing with danger, crimes, scenes, and drugs, but Fowler was disappointed to meet Ozible. Then further he says, "Instead you have spent a dull evening in a French music hall with a sloppy means carelessly dressed fat man, who instead of having messages slipped into his hand by dark-eyed beauties," that means the beautiful girls, that secret agents, as we read in the novels, they are surrounded by, or they are having beautiful ladies working for them, "gets only a prosaic telephone," prosaic means ordinary, "telephone call, making an appointment in his room. You have been bored." The fat man chuckled to himself as he unlocked the door of his room and stood aside to let his frustrated guest enter. So in these lines he says that now Ozible just tells Fowler that he had to spend the evening in a music hall with an old, poorly dressed, extremely fat man who used traditional method for making the information travel rather than beauties delivering to him. He then exclaimed that Fowler was bored with him. As soon as he opened the door of his room, Ozible gave way to Fowler, and he entered the room, closed the door, and turned on light. So further he says, "You are disillusioned," Ozible told him, "but take cheer, my young friend. Presently you will see a paper, a quite important paper, for which several men and women have risked their lives. Come to me some day soon. That paper may well affect the course of history. In that thought is drama, is there not?" So here in these lines, the writer says that they both entered the room. The Ozible told Fowler that he had been thinking all wrong, and the best part was yet to come, as they would soon be coming across a paper for which a lot of men and women had risked their lives. That means they had staked their life just to get that report, because it is a message, very important message, a very secret report, a very important report. And so all the people, the men and women, they have risked their life to get that report from Ozible now. Then further he says, as he spoke, Ozible closed the door behind him. Then he switched on the light, and as the light came on, Fowler had his first authentic thrill of the day. Authentic means of undisputed origin and not a copy, that is genuine. So he says that as he switched on the light and as the light came on, Fowler had his first authentic thrill of the day, for halfway across the room, a small automatic pistol in his hand, stood a man. Ausable blinked a few times. Blink means close and open the eyes. Max, he wheezed. You gave me quite a start. I thought you were in Berlin. What are you doing here in my room? Max was slender. Now this is the physical feature of Max being described. Max was slender, a little less than tall, with features that suggested slightly the crafty, pointed countenance of a fox. There was about him, aside from the gun, nothing specially menacing. The report, he murmured, the report that is being brought to you tonight concerning some new missiles. I thought I would take it from you. It will be safer in my hands than in yours. Ausable moved to an armchair and sat down heavily. I am going to raise the devil with the management this time, and you can bet on it, he said grimly. This is the second time in a month that somebody has got into my room through the nuisance of a balcony. Fowler's eyes went to the single window of the room. It was an ordinary window, against which now the night was pressing blackly balcony. Max said with a rising inflection, no, a passkey. I did not know about the balcony. It might have saved me some trouble had I known. So first of all, let's see to the hard words, the meaning of the hard words here. The first word, that is authentic, means undisputed origin or not a copy, or that is genuine. I have already told you. Halfway means at or to a point equidistant between two others. Wheezed means spoke, breathing noisily and heavily. When you are speaking and you take a deep breath, that is called as wheezed. Slender means gracefully thin. Slender means thin. Countenance, a person's face or facial expression. Menacing means suggesting the presence of danger or threatening. Menace, you say he is a menace, that means he is a threat. Murmured here means to say something in a very low or indistinct voice. फुसफुसाना जिसको आप हिंदी में बोलते हैं. Missile means weapons directed by remote control or automatically. And raise the devil means to make a noisy disturbance. Grimly means in a very gloomy way or in a very serious or depressing manner. Nuisance, a person or thing causing inconvenience or annoyance. And balcony, you all know, balcony is a platform enclosed by a wall or balustrade on the outside of a building with access from an upper floor window or door. That is the open area, or you have a balcony in your houses also. Inflection is a change in the form of a word to express a grammatical function or attribute, such as tense, mood, person, number, case and gender. And passkey is a master key. So here in these lines the narrator says, after saying this, Ausable closed the door behind him and turned on light. So now both Ausable and Fowler have entered the room, and as Ausable opened the light, he saw Fowler experienced his first thrill of visiting a secret agent, as he saw a man with an automatic pistol standing across the room. So as they opened the light, as Ausable opened the light, Fowler was thrilled to see a visitor, that is uninvited guest or a secret agent, another secret agent named Max, who was holding an automatic pistol across the room. Ausable recognized the man as Max and asked him what was he doing in his room when he was supposed to be in Berlin. Max was thin, a bit short, and his face looked a bit like that of a fox. So here now simile has been used. He had a fox face, that he looked like a fox. He seemed harmless except the gun he was holding. Max said that he wanted the report about the missiles, for which Ausable had been waiting, as he thought that he would be able to keep it more safely. This is said to create humor. And as he just wanted the reports for his own benefit, Ozible sat down on the chair after hearing this and started speaking that he would definitely have the fight with the management of the hotel, as this was the second time that someone had climbed up from the balcony of the room. That means there is no secret, there is no safety in that room. So he just shouted, he just told that he is going to have a meeting with the management of the hotel, that how the person entered. This is the second time that the person was coming through the balcony of his room. Then Fowler looked towards the window and saw that it was an ordinary window and that it was pretty much dark outside because it was midnight. Max said that he came through the master key and did not know about the balcony. Had he known about it, his work would have become much easier. If Max had known that there was a balcony, he would not have to steal that master key and enter the room. Then further, the writer says that it's not my balcony. Then he says, Ozible said with extreme irritation, it belongs to the next apartment. He glanced explanatorily at Fowler. You see, he said, this room used to be part of a large unit and the next room through the door. And the next room through that door there used to be the living room. It had the balcony which extends under my window now. You can get into it from the empty room 2 doors down, and somebody did last month. The management promised to block it off, but they haven't. So here, then further he says that Max glanced at Fowler, who was standing stiffly not far from Ozible, and waved the gun with a commanding gesture. Please sit down, he said. We have a wait of half an hour, I think. 31 minutes, Ozible said moodily. That appointment was for 12:30. I wish I knew how you learned about the report, Max. The little spy smiled heavily. And he wished we know how your people got the report, but no harm has been done. I will get it back tonight. What is that? Who is at the door? Fowler jumped at the sudden knocking at the door. Ozible just smiled. That will be the police, he said. I thought that such an important paper as the one we are waiting for should have a little extra protection. I told them to check on me to make sure everything was all right. So first of all, see to the hard words in all these lines which we have read. Glanced means to take a brief look or hurried look. Explanatorily means serving to explain. Stiffly means in a manner that is not relaxed or friendly. Waved means to move your hand to and fro with a swaying motion. Commanding means having a position of authority. Gesture, a movement of a part of a body, especially a hand or head, to express an idea or meaning. Evilly means morally wrong or bad. So here in all these lines, it is said that Ozible continued that it was not his balcony through which people had tried coming in, but was of the next apartment. Means his room has no balcony, but there is a balcony in the next apartment. He then started explaining things to Fowler, that his room used to be a part of a large unit and the room next to his room used to be a living room. Then he said that it had the balcony that came till the window of his room. Then he said that to climb up to his room, one needed to go to the empty room, which was 2 rooms away from his room, and climb up the balcony. Then he said that somebody did climb up the balcony last month as well. He also told Fowler that management had told that they would surely get it blocked, but they still had not done so. Max looked at Fowler. who was standing near Ausable. Max asked Fowler to sit down as there was still half an hour for the report to reach Ausable. Then Ausable joked that it was not 30 minutes but 31 minutes that were left for the report to reach him. The report was supposed to come in around 12:30 at night. Ausable said that he wished he had known how Max had come to know about the report coming in. Max smiled wickedly and said that he also wished to know about the report. He wished to know how Ausable and his team had got the report. Then he further says, he added that nothing had happened to the report because he would take it from Ausable straight to his team. Then suddenly a knock is heard on the door and Max panics. Now Max gets scared, he gets panicked. Fowler is also scared by the knock on the door. Ausable replied to Max's question about who was on the door that it must be the police. He guessed. He's now very smartly saying that it might be the police, though he knew that he had not called for the police. But in order to, it was the, you can say, it was the smartness of the detective Ausable, who was on the door, and it must be the police because he had asked them to check on him after some time, as he thought that the report he was about to receive was important and definitely required extra attention. Therefore, he had asked the police to check on him after every some time to ensure that everything was all right. So actually he did not do so, but he used his brain. That this shows that Ausable was an intelligent secret agent. Then further the line says, Max bit his lips nervously. The knocking was repeated. What will you do now, Max? Ausable asked. If I do not answer the door, they will enter anyway. The door is unlocked and they will not hesitate to shoot. So in this paragraph it is clear that now Ausable is trying to scare Max. Max is already panic stricken and he is scared that, as Ausable had told him that it might be the police, as he had asked them to keep a check on him after every after a small little bit of time. So it might be he was expecting police to come at this time. So now he is just scaring Max and saying that if he does not answer to the knock at the door, they will enter anyway.